Well, hello again, everybody. Your two favorite political pundits here. I'm Henry Hill, and that's my good mate over there.
President Logan Clinton. And I just want to tell you, I did not have sexual relations with that woman. I did not inhale.
Okay, it depends on what your definition of it is. We are laughing already at this American crime story, Impeachment. Yes, so me and Logan here, we grew up in the 90s here when this was all going on. So we along with everybody else, were aware of the scandal going on. I think I was towards the beginning of, I think I might have been freshman year of high school when most of the trial for this was going down. So I remember hearing a lot of details. My dad would listen to talk radio, so I'd hear bits and pieces, from hearing the news. And I just remember that Monica Lewinsky was like an intern at the White House. Yep. And she ended up, basically Bill Clinton sexually harassed her and had her come into the office. And it seemed like she was pretty smitten with him. So she wasn't all the way innocent, although she was pretty young. And obviously he was using his power to lure in Monica, and comes to find out a lot of other women, abusing his power and showing everybody his private parts and everything. So yeah, that's what this whole American crime story is. It's the story of Monica Lewinsky, Linda Tripp. Basically, the information is out there that this has happened, and Monica Lewinsky and Linda Tripp, she's been telling Linda Tripp all this information about this affair that's going on, and it's about to rock the world once it's released to the public, and there's going to be a big trial.
I'm kind of going off, growing up with Bill Clinton. He was my favorite president back in the day as a kid when he got the presidency. He played saxophone. He was cool.
Remember, he was on NBA Jam.
Like he was a big part of like kind of pop culture back then. Like everybody loved him. He was younger. Arkansas, he's really cool and hip. And then after you find out really what he was about, you think to yourself, he's really not that cool.
No, he's pretty creepy.
Yeah, as a young kid, he was cool. And then you find out the dirt. You're like, no, this guy's a piece of shit, like most people in politics, really, in government. And that's pretty much the case here. We're kind of diving into what exactly happened. The younger audience out there may not remember this happening, the impeachment, everything happened to Bill Clinton. Monica Lewinsky having to do with the blowjob, the Oval Office, and the jizzle over the dress, and all
the blue
all that,
dress, the cigar.
Yeah, the cigar, everything. Yeah, this is probably all new to them. So they're really diving into this. Director Ryan Murphy is back. We like him for the most part. He's hit or miss, but American Crime Story, this is the third season. They've all been pretty solid thus far. The first one being OJ, last season Versace, this time around with American Crime Story Impeachment. Bill Clinton in the 90s. So they really dive into this. Beanie Feldstein plays the young intern Monica Lewinsky. It looks a lot like her, sounds like her when she talks. And then we have Sarah Paulson playing Linda Tripp. Looks exactly like her too, obviously with prosthetics and things like that, but her voice sounded like her. She worked at the White House and the West Wing, and she's really a really bad person and up to no good and trying to get some dirt, basically.
She's trying to get dirt on anything that she can in her position. She craves power as well. She wants to keep moving up. She's faced some adversity at work, getting fired, so she wants to sort of come up big, and she craves the power and attention, and she feels like she deserves it. So she's going to look and try to find any dirt she can, and she wants to find it in the highest levels. And by the end of the episode, she comes into contact with Monica Lewinsky. They form this friendship, and she comes to find out that Monica's having this affair, and that's why she is brought back to the Department of Defense, and where they meet up. It's because, so she can be close to Bill, and Bill can call her for a booty call every once in a while. But yeah, Monica Lewinsky, played by Beanie Feldstein. It's Jonah Hill's sister. This is a really big role for her. She did a great job in this opening episode, just dealing with the nuances, like you mentioned, the voice, the look of Monica Lewinsky. And during the filming of this, she worked a lot. She worked right alongside Monica Lewinsky. Just to get her mannerisms, the thought process, try to be as accurate as possible to what was going on in, Monica's world, and get inside her head during that time and find out exactly what was going on. And this is really, the story for Monica Lewinsky, obviously working with this production very closely. So we're getting her story, unfiltered. You obviously mentioned Sarah Paulson as Linda Tripp. this is mainly her episode, this opening episode. It's all Linda Tripp. It's all Sarah Paulson's performance. She knocks it out of the park as usual. She's barely recognizable in the prosthetic makeup and the wig. You can kind of tell it's her sometimes, when she's talking, but for the most part, she sounds like this lady, Linda Tripp, who's this conniving person who has this vendetta and wants to, expose this big scandal and in order to further herself. I remember, back in the day when this was going on, hearing a lot of those and hearing how Linda Tripp recorded conversations with Monica Lewinsky, gets all this dirt and is just ready to put forth this lawsuit and move forward and try to bury Bill Clinton and his career. We didn't get to see a lot of Hillary Clinton in this episode, but we did see a little sneak peek of Edie Falco playing Hillary. I can't wait to see more of her. She's just a great actress. We loved her ever since we saw her as Carmela Soprano on The Sopranos. She's a great actress. So seeing her and Sarah Paulson in this, really, those are two of the more strong actresses out there today, and they're going to put on some great performances here. Clive Owen, we see barely, just a glimpse of at the end as Bill Clinton towards the end of the episode. Doesn't really look like him. He's got gray hair or anything. He looks kind of weird. You can tell it's Clive Owen in makeup, but he does sound similar. He's got that Southern drawl. I did not have sexual. So he's like, "Hey, Monica, you coming over tonight?" So he's got the voice down at least. I'm looking forward to seeing more from him, but it'll take some more convincing from him. But overall, just the performances alone and the story and the details really made this episode stand out. It's one where there's a lot of details, so things are gonna get past you. But the overall story is all there. They lay out everything, and within these batch episodes, we're gonna really get to the heart of what really happened. Just beyond the headlines that me and you grew up hearing, we're going to go into the nitty gritty and find out some of the truth and more of the detailed look.
Yeah, and a lot to do with the Whitewater Scandal too, which a lot of the first episode kind of dives into. Huge scandal in the 90s with the Clintons down in Arkansas. But look into it. I don't remember much about that, so I had to look into it last night, but it's a big part of this as well. So a lot of scandal, a lot of dirt, a lot of stuff going on here, showing who Bill Clinton really is and was. Not a very good president, but a lot of presidents are all shady because they have power. They can do what they want until they get caught. So that's really where they dive into this, especially for a younger audience not familiar with this. I can see the show being very educational, and then for people that lived during that time, it's a nice refresher to revisit all that stuff that went on back in the day. But it's a really good first episode. Pilot was pretty good all across the board. Directing, acting was pretty good. Edie Falco was a glimpse of her I really enjoyed, and I'm excited to see Hillary Clinton's portrayal in this. Clive Owen, seen a little glimpse of him. Didn't look like him, like you were saying, but did sound like him. And then obviously Beanie Feldstein and Sarah Paulson were really great. And I'm excited to see where the show goes and how dark they get with it.
Absolutely. It was an enjoyable episode. I'm looking to dive into the rest of the season. And once the season's over, we will be back to get, our full recap of everything that we saw. We'll, go over the high points of the series. We'll talk about Edie Falco's performance. We'll also be seeing some other characters come along the way. So yeah, we'll be back to cover the whole thing. This episode of Impeachment, American Crime Story, for me, it was very good. I think the season with OJ of American Crime Story was really the high point for me. That one was just great. And obviously that one was huge in our lifetimes too, with the murder aspect of that. That one was a little more interesting to me. And I can see myself probably being a little less interested in this just because I remember a lot from this, and it wasn't as, there wasn't a big murder scandal or anything, although people did die during this story. So maybe there's some things that I don't know yet about it. But with that being said, I will give Impeachment, American Crime Story a 3.5 out of 5 Bill Clinton cigar hairpieces. Come here, Monica.
Yeah, I'd have to agree with you on the same points. I'm interested to see where this goes and kind of what they do with the characters and how good Clive Owen is as Bill Clinton. And pretty solid pilot episode. First episode, I guess, of this season. Not really pilot, but first episode of this season. Had a good time with it. So I'm going to give it a 3.5 out of 5 Clive Owen hairpieces.
What did you guys like about Impeachment, American Crime Story? Do you guys remember this scandal happening, or were you not even born yet? Because we're old bastards, me and Uncle Logan here. We remember all the 90s stuff. We were kids of the 90s for sure. Born in the 80s, but our heyday was the 90s. So did you guys enjoy Impeachment American Crime Story? What did you think of old Beanie Feldstein as Monica Lewinsky? I think she did a good job in this opening episode. I can't wait to see her arc this season and see what it's going to show us from that whole scandal, how, all the other crazy stuff that happened. I didn't really know about the suicide there at the beginning or any of that. So
Nope.
That was pretty interesting. So we're going to learn a lot from this too. So yeah, let us know in the comments below. And as always, don't forget to click subscribe and tell your friends about us. We love reviewing movies and TV shows, and we're going to keep doing it. So continued support is warranted, and we love you guys, and thank you for following along with us. We will be back very soon.
That's right. If you haven't checked us out on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, or our website, Cinephellas.com, you should do that because it's fun times and it's us boys getting wilder than normal. And that's just what we do here. But yeah, we just released episodes of What If, review of Don't Breathe 2, probably one of the sleeper hits of the year. We both had a great time with that film, and also a recent podcast with the entire Cinephellas crew. But we have more podcasts, interviews, and reviews coming very soon as well. Stay tuned for that.
Until the next Cinephellas review. That's my co-host over there. That's Clive Myers.
I did not have sexual relations with that woman.
Yes, you did. We literally tested the DNA on the sheets. It is yours.
It is not my DNA. It's an imposter.
And I'm Kenneth Starr. Until the next Impeachment American Crime Story review. Cheers.
And God bless this beautiful country.